Alright, everybody, I have had to try so hard to deprive myself of any spoilers in all of this, okay? I heard about this happening literally just a few hours before I scheduled stream, and it has been hard to not look into this. But it's happened. Trump found liable for sexually abusing and defaming E. Jean Carroll in civil trial and is ordered to pay $5 million. Now, I'm not saying this is like a killing blow on Trump or anything like that. I'm not even saying it's a fatal blow or anything like that on Trump, but it is still really funny and enjoyable to see bad things happening to bad people. Or I guess in this case, it's a good thing because it's literally just justice. Obviously, this wasn't a criminal trial. It was a, like a lawsuit type trial, but, you know, it's still a dub. A New York jury found former President Donald Trump liable Tuesday for sexually abusing writer E. Jean Carroll, in a Manhattan department store in the 1990s, but not liable for her alleged rape. The jury awarded her $5 million in damages for her battery and defamation claims. Asked on its verdict sheet whether Carroll, 79, had proven by a preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Trump had raped Mrs. Carroll, the 9-person jury checked the box that said no. Asked whether Carroll had been proven by a preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Trump had sexually abused her, the jury checked the box that said yes. Both allegations were elements of Carroll's battery claim. The 6 men and 3 women also found Trump had defamed Carroll by calling her claims a hoax and a con job. The jury deliberated for only about 3 hours. It awarded Carroll just over $2 million on the battery claim and just under $3 million on the defamation claims, for a total of about $5 million. I filed this lawsuit against Donald Trump to clear my name and to get back my life. Today, the world finally knows the truth, Carroll said in a statement Tuesday. She didn't speak to reporters outside the courthouse. In a separate statement, her lawyer, Roberta Kaplan, said, "No one is above the law, not even a former president of the United States. We are also thrilled that the jury agreed." Trump, a 2024 presidential candidate, has consistently denied Carroll's claims. He blasted the verdict on social media on his social media website shortly after the verdict was handed down. "I have absolutely no idea who this woman is. This verdict is a disgrace and a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time," he wrote on Truth Social. A Trump campaign spokesman said in a statement, "Make no mistake, this entire bogus case is a political endeavor targeting President Trump because he is now an overwhelming frontrunner to be once again elected president of the United States. This case will be appealed and we will ultimately win," the statement said. The verdict marks the first time a former president has been found civilly liable for sexual misconduct. God damn. So, there's a little bit more to the article here, but what I really want to watch, the thing that I've been desperate to see, that I want to react to for you guys, but I have not watched just yet, just saw a very short clip of it on Vosh's stream and immediately tabbed out when I realized I did not want to spoil myself, is that there is apparently video of Trump being questioned. Does anyone in chat have a link to this? Thank you, Avalon of Babylon. This is why you're modded in chat. 48 minutes long. God damn. That is a juicer right there. Holy crap. All right, everybody. I have only seen, like, a minute of what we're about to see here. This is apparently, like, not only does Trump just nearly perjure himself here, but he also... Apparently this just ends up being fucking hilarious. There's really no other way to put it. Apparently this is just really, really funny. And I'm excited to see how funny it ends up being. All right, everybody. The deposition of Donald J. Trump. Here we go. Former President Donald Trump sat for a deposition in October of 2022 for the civil lawsuit filed against him by E. Jean Carroll, alleging he raped her in a department store in the 1990s. The video deposition was shown to a jury in New York. Edits and omissions in the tape were made before it was obtained by NBC News. So they were uploading the raw footage that they received, but any edits that were made were not made by them. You know, that they received the footage in this form.
And by the early 1990s, would it be fair to call you or to characterize you as a real estate tycoon?
Yeah.
God, I cannot believe this is real. Like, I actually can't believe this is real. The fact that we have video of Donald Trump being questioned in court. This is what we've always wanted. We've literally been begging for this for over half a decade now. This is what we've wanted to see. And it's old, too. It's from 6 months ago at this point, yeah.
Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue, that was completed in 1983?
Around that time, yes.
And when did you move into your penthouse apartment there?
Maybe a year later.
And that remained your primary residence until you were elected president, correct?
It's not really in court. It's just by his lawyer for a deposition. That is true. That is true. However, we're still, like, this is still in that, like, ballpark, right? What we've wanted to see is something more than just Trump walking into a building, right? Every time, it's just been Donald Trump, like, pictures of him walking into a building, right? And then you find, like, his reaction on social media. We don't get to see him in the courtroom. We don't get to see him nervous or having to explain himself or anything like that. This is the closest that we have gotten. This is the juiciest that it has gotten. I am so happy right now.
That's right.
And where's Trump Tower located? I haven't seen it.
57th and 5th.
And at some point, you became the owner of the Plaza Hotel in New York, correct?
Yes.
And where's the Plaza Hotel located?
59th off 5th Avenue.
And for how long were you the owner with Ron? During what years were you the owner of the Plaza Hotel?
I don't know the years. About 5 years.
And do you know when it began, when you bought it?
In the early 90s.
Okay. Now, in the 80s and 90s, is it fair to say you had a busy social life?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you'd have to define social life. I wouldn't say that busy. I was working very hard, so I didn't have time to be too much onto the social calendar, but
this bit is a bit slow, but later you're in for a treat, Zan. I'm very happy to hear it like ramps up over time. Like we gotta sort of sink into it. I understand.
Yeah. Well, let me try to phrase it this way. In the evenings during that period, you went out quite a bit in New York City to benefits, galas, etc.
A lot of charity events, yes, but I don't think that much. No.
So a lot of charity events.
In the period,
okay.
In the 80s and 90s, we've already discussed you would go to benefits and parties. And is it fair to say that a lot of those parties there would be or benefits, there would be kind of a photography line either at the beginning or throughout the event?
Yes.
And that people would take photographs like Getty Images and then put them out. And this is another Getty Images printout. And
guys, I can't stop looking at the texture of his hair. I know this is like a really like SNL lib dem, resistance lib dem, or resistance dem tier like dunk on Trump, but oh my God, look at his. You can see, like here, the hair is like fully patted down. I'm pretty sure this is the hairpiece because this is where he's like mostly going bald. And you can see this is where his actual hair starts. And it's like coming out here. It could just be horrifically styled and like everything around here is a wig, but like, fuck. That is not natural hair. And it's not looking good. His comb over has gotten thinner. Yeah, he's thinning out. Like, say what you want about Biden, but like his hair just doesn't look bad, He just kind of, I don't even know if he's balding, and if he is, I haven't even noticed. He's kind of rocking it if he is, Like when I think of Biden, I think of him having a full head of like white hair. I'm sure he's got balding. He's got to, right? Like he's got to be balding in the back. He's an old guy, but I've just never noticed. But Donald Trump's hair, like, he's fighting a battle.
Is it fair to say that this document indicates that you were the Grand Marshal of the New York City Veterans Day Parade on November 10, 1995 in New York City?
Yes.
Similarly true that during this same period you made appearances on television, correct?
Yes.
Sitting here today, can you recall any TV interviews that you did that you remember?
I did everything.
When you say everything, give me some examples if you can.
I did the late night shows. I did the newscasts. I even did some of the political shows on Sunday, even though I wasn't really in politics as I am now. But they wanted me to do that, and I did that. They'd ask me to do them all the time. So I did quite a bit of television.
I think you already answered this question, but just so the record is clear, did you watch the program Good Morning America from time to time in this period of the late 1980s through the mid-1990s?
A little bit.
Did you appear on the Today Show during this period?
Yes.
Same question, did you watch the Today Show during this period?
A little bit.
During this period, did you have any friends in the television industry, who worked in the television industry?
Probably. I wasn't much involved at that point in the television industry, but I probably did.
Anyone?
I love how vague he's being with every answer here. It's like, did you have a strong social life back in the 90s? Oh, I don't know. What? I mean, obviously he's trying to give, like, the least committal answers possible, because when you give committal answers, you start, like, it opens up the ability for holes to form in your story. Because, like, come on. We know Trump's guilty. We know Trump's a rapist. Not only, like, Trump literally, like, paid off the family of a 13-year-old girl that accused him of sexual assault, right? Like, we know that Trump is, like, a degenerate, like, pussy-grabbing, like creepo, right? Like, we know this is true. But the right doesn't care. This is not going to harm Trump's chances among conservatives. And it probably won't even harm Trump's chances among, like, the more center-ish leaning demographics that are prone to become Trump supporters or end up voting for Trump regardless. Because those people see this as, like, let's be honest, there are a good amount of conservatives that see rape as, like, particularly rape of young women, as a thing that men are entitled to do. Think back to the PragerU quote, in fact. Dennis Prager himself said that if it weren't for laws and God's rules, that they as men would just be raping and sexually assaulting women at a whim. It is only the threat of legal punishment and eternal damnation that keeps them from like raping and murdering. A lot of these conservatives unironically only believe in Christianity because it is the only moral reason they can find to not kill people, rape, and otherwise engage in outright evil actions. Like, they don't have a logical framework to build their morals on, so they latch on to a religious one.
Come to mind right now?
Maybe Bob Wright.
Who was Bob Wright?
He was the head of NBC, I think, at that time.
What about Roger Ailes? When did you become friends with Roger
Later.
Ailes? Approximately?
More in the 7-8 year ago period.
What years were you married to your first wife, Ivana Trump?
So, about 78 to
God, Trump's old.
the early 90s.
Your
Wait, does he not remember when he married his first wife? I do love how much of like a cartoon character Trump is. Like, he's had multiple like failed marriages, and he doesn't even remember like the time periods where he was married to some of these women, because that's how little respect he regards like women with. You know, it's like he's such like a comically cartoonish like misogynist, right? The only reason women even give him the time of day is because of his massive amount of wealth, and even then, he oftentimes doesn't even act sexually with these women consensually. He's still got, like, there's still women out there who said that he's raped or sexually assaulted them, despite the fact that he's got shit tons of money and power. Like, it's just, he's a literal fucking creep.
Your next wife was a woman by the name of Marla Maples?
Right.
And sitting here today, do you recall what years you were married to Ms. Maples?
I'd have to get the exact dates for you. I can do that very easily.
In the course of your dating life and your married life, did you have occasion to buy gifts for women you were seeing?
Not much, actually.
Well,
I mean, if it was a birthday or something, I guess, yeah.
And other than birthday presents, did you buy gifts for women?
I assure you, every woman Donald Trump has ever had sex with, he bought them something nice and expensive beforehand, okay? Like, I'm sorry. Like, well, maybe when he was younger, he was actually able to pull some women, but like, at least after establishing his reputation, I have a feeling most women that Trump has slept with have probably only given him the time of day because of his money and power.
I mean, it's possible, but I don't think very much, no.
I take it you bought gifts for your wives for their birthdays?
Yes, generally.
And I take it you bought gifts for women you were dating?
It's, you know, probable.
At least in your first marriage, you were seeing women outside of your marriage while you were married, correct?
I don't know.
Well, you were very public about the fact that you were seeing Ms. Maples when you were still married to Ivana Trump, no?
No, I don't think I was public about it.
Well, there were
Wait, hasn't he verified, like, confirmed cheated on, like, multiple wives? Like, he's confirmed cheated on multiple wives, right?
many, many articles about it at the time, correct?
Like,
I
admitted
don't
it?
think I was public about it, but if...
I don't think I was public about it. Oh, no. Oh, that was a gaffe. Holy shit. He didn't mean to say that. Oh, that wording.
We're seeing Ms. Maples when you were still married to Ivana Trump, no?
No,
Yeah,
I
the
don't think I
Stormy
was
Daniels.
public about it.
Well, there were many, many articles about it at the time, correct?
I don't think I was public about it, but if... no, I don't think I was public about it at all.
Yeah, isn't it true that you were seeing Ms. Maples before you were divorced from Ivana Trump?
I don't know. It was toward the end of the marriage, so I don't know, really. It could be...
Wait, I don't know. It was towards the end of the marriage, so I really don't know. Okay, that means yes.
Be a lap over, but I don't really know.
Did you ever have occasion to go to the department store Bergdorf Goodman?
Very rarely.
You say very rarely. Can you give me more detail? How rarely?
I guess this is the department store.
Almost, for me, almost never. I would very rarely go there.
When you went there, what do you recall shopping for?
I don't know. It's possible I was there, but I don't know that I ever shopped there for myself.
So when you shopped there for yourself, to the extent you went there, you were shopping for others?
I don't think I ever shopped for others. It's possible that...
Notice how he's not saying, no, I've never shopped that store? When people ask me, have you ever shopped at this store? I can say yes or no, like, definitively after, like, 2 seconds of thinking. You know, like, I know what restaurants or stores I've been to. Like, if someone asked me, have you been to this restaurant? I'd be able to answer yes or no. And with 100% accuracy, I feel like, you know? So the fact that he's answering, I don't know, I don't remember, means the answer is yes, and he doesn't want to be caught explicitly lying.
One or both of my wives shopped there a little bit, but I don't remember ever buying something for myself at Bergdorf Goodman. I went there very seldom, almost if ever.
Then let's limit it to Bergdorf's. Bergdorf's was pretty close to Trump Tower and very close to the Plaza Hotel, correct?
That's right.
I'm handing you a document that's been marked as DJT 18. It bears the Bates range Carroll 24378 through 24385. You have that in front of you?
Yeah.
Sitting here today, do you recognize this document?
No.
I will represent to you that this is the excerpt from Ms. Carroll's book that was published in New York Magazine originally online, on June 21, 2019.
Okay.
At any point in time, did you read this article?
Excuse me?
Did you ever read this article? This
No,
document?
I don't believe I did.
I'm sending you a book. It's marked as DJT 19. It's a book by E. Jean Carroll. It says, What Do We Need Men For? And if you look at the publication date, it says first edition, July 2019. Do you have that? You have the book in front of you. Sitting here today, sir, have you ever read either this book in its entirety or any portion of this book?
No, never have. I've never seen the book, actually.
Okay. You responded publicly to Ms. Carroll's allegations on the same day that the excerpt was published in New York Magazine, which was June 21, 2019, correct?
I think so.
Let's take a look at that. So what we've handed you as DJT20 is a blown up, for legibility purposes, version of a tweet posted by a woman by the name of Laura Litvin at 5:17 p.m. on June 21st, 2019. Do you have that in front of you?
Yes.
The statement that is in this tweet, is this a statement that you gave?
I mean, essentially, that's what I said. Yeah.
If you could read that statement into the record. It says, statement from President Donald J. Trump. Regarding the, quote, story, unquote, by E. Jean Carroll, claiming she once encountered me at Bergdorf Goodman 23 years ago, I've never met this person in my life. She is trying to sell a new book that should indicate her motivation. It should be sold in the fiction section. Shame on those who make up false stories of assault to try to get publicity for themselves or sell a book or carry out a political agenda, like Julie Swetnick, who falsely accused Justice Brett Kavanaugh. It's just as bad for people to believe it, particularly when there is zero evidence. Worse still, for a dying publication to try to prop itself up by peddling fake news. It's an epidemic. Ms. Carroll in New York Magazine, no pictures, no surveillance, no videos, no reports, no sales attendants around, question mark. I would like to thank Bergdorf Goodman for confirming they have no video footage of any such incident because it never happened. False accusations diminish the severity of real assault. All should condemn false accusations and any actual assault in the strongest possible terms. If anyone has information that the Democratic Party is working with Ms. Carroll or New York Magazine, please notify us as soon as possible. The world should know what's really going on. It's a disgrace, and people should pay dearly for such false accusations. So that's what you have in front of you?
Yeah.
And I think you've already confirmed that this is a statement that you gave to someone on your staff to give to the press.
Yeah.
Let's mark as DJT21, a document bearing the Bates range. DJT21, this is the next one, right? DJT21, a document bearing the Bates range.
I love how done with this he looks, you know? He is so upset that he has to be here. Like, he is not happy to be here at all. Also, I want to point something out because it's been bothering me this whole time. Maybe Trump just has a ridiculously hunched posture, but I'm pretty certain Trump has, like, padding on the shoulders of his suit to make it look like his shoulders are broader and taller than they are. Because, obviously he's like bent over and kind of hunched over reading right now, so like if he does have that padding, it's more pronounced now than they would be normally, but like that's padding. Padded shoulders are super common, yeah. But if you've got based wide shoulders that you're proud of, you don't get those.
MP 1795.
It's a sign of insecurity.
MP, I've got it. Just a second. Through MP 1807. You have that in front of you?
Yeah.
And
Damn, Space Karen, you're taking L after L lately.
these are statements that were put out when you were President of the United States.
Yeah.
And if you look at the top email, kind of the address of the email, it says under that, remarks by President Trump before Marine One departure.
I don't know, it's just weird. Is the main part of his suit, the torso part, looks like it's made of cardboard, like it's rigid and it doesn't bend or move like fabric does with his body. It's like he's in a it's like he's a robot. You know that episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns makes himself a robot to like spy on his employees, and how it's like he's like a little guy inside of like a robot made to look like a bigger guy. That's what Trump looks like right now. He looks like he's like a suit that a smaller guy is wearing. Like a small guy is operating him from inside, like he's some sort of automaton. Well, I guess automatons are, you know, they do their own thing. So like some sort of mech.
Marine One is a helicopter.
Yes.
And if you look where it shows you speaking about halfway or 2/3 of the way down the document, it says, the very first thing you say, so we're going to Camp David.
Yes.
So am I correct in interpreting this as this is a statement you made while boarding or getting on to Marine One?
Looks like it.
To go to Camp David?
It looks like it.
Okay. Let's go now to the third statement, which we're going to mark as, this one I can do, DJ222. Thanks.
Hey, Pillow.
You have in front of you, sir, a document, 5-page document. The first page says in bold type, exclusive, Trump vehemently denies E. Jean Carroll allegations, says she's not my type. It's from a publication known as The Hill. It's dated June 24th.
Trump's like go-to response to like allegations of rape or sexual assault by women, and it's been like dozens of women at this point, is like, oh, she's too ugly. I wouldn't even rape her, pretty much. Like literally the Sargon of Akkad, I wouldn't even rape you line is Trump's go-to reply to these types of accusations. Nah, she's not my type. How could you? She's so ugly. Could you really believe that I would rape this woman? That's literally the defense that he's given multiple times for several sexual assault allegations he's gotten. It's fucking wild, dude. It's wild. So this was before the arrest? Oh, this was before the, like, whole Stormy Daniels thing that's going down. Yeah, Sargon and Trump have a lot in common. Who would have thought?
2019, and it's attributed to the gentleman Jordan Fabian and maybe not be gentleman. It's attributed to two people, Jordan Fabian and Cigar and Genti. See that?
Yes.
So this is 2 days after the last statement we're looking at, which was on June 22nd. Do you recall having an interview with reporters from The Hill on June 24th, 2019?
Vaguely, yes.
And do you recall where that interview took place?
I think it was in the Oval Office.
And you're quoted just below that paragraph as saying as follows, and this one I'll read. I'll say it with great respect. Number one, she's not my type. Number two, it never happened. It never happened, okay? And then the reporters say, the president said,
Number one, she's not my type. Number two, it never happened. I don't know why, but just the fact that he chose she's not my type to ever... It's funny that he ever uses that as a response to the constant, cases of him doing the stuff that he gets. But, like, the fact that he always makes it his number one forefront figurehead response to anything like this is, nah, not my type. She's not hot enough for me to have done that to her. Like, what? Dog, you're making things worse for yourself. Yeah, as the opener.
Said while seated behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office. See that?
Yes, I did.
And the statement that I just read that begins, I'll say with great respect, that was a statement that you made to the reporters for The Hill on June 24, 2019, correct?
Yes.
And same set of questions. I take it, sir, that you stand by that statement today?
Yes, I do.
So before you made your statements that it never happened in 2019, did you or anyone on your staff reach out to anyone at Bergdorf Goodman?
I didn't have to reach out to anybody because it didn't happen. And by the way, if it did happen, it would have been reported within minutes. Talking about going to a major floor, probably, I assume, the most important floor, a major floor in a major department store. That's a very busy store, by the way. And
wait, now he knows all about this store. I like how before he was like, when it came to asking whether or not he'd been to the store, he doesn't know anything about it. It's just, I don't think I've ever even been there, you know? And now he's like in detail describing this store in response to another line of questioning that requires him to explain how the store would have somehow made that unpractical to have happened. A store that he's supposedly never been to.
Checkout counters and everything else. And I would be in there. I mean, it's the most ridiculous, disgusting story. It was just made.
You should be a criminal prosecutor? Why? Am I, like, good at finding holes in people's stories? I appreciate the compliment, though, Astro Arguello.
Made up.
After you made the statements that you made in June of 2019, did you or anyone working for you reach out to Bergdorf Goodman?
After the statement was made, no.
In your June 21 statement that's marked as Exhibit 20, you say, and this is the Litvin tweet, I never met this person in my life.
Yes.
Was that a true statement when you made it on June 21, 2019?
It was a true statement when I made it. I think subsequently, or at some point, they showed a picture on a receiving. I was on a celebrity line for a charity, and I think I was either shaking her hand or her husband's hand on a receiving line. I shake a lot of hands with people, but I had no idea who she was.
So
Oh no. So he'd said I've never seen this woman before, and there was evidence of them having met, and now he's trying to play that down. Like, but I didn't recognize her though. I would never made that connection though. Oh. How many times does he contradict himself in his own story here? Did he not even, like, I don't know, like, rehearse his story, like, write it down or something like that so he'd have it straight? Like, Jesus Christ. He is dropping the ball here.
if I can understand your testimony, sir, you're saying that at the time you made the statement that's in DJT 20, you were not aware of ever having met Ms. Carroll. You have since seen a photograph that shows you with Ms. Carroll on a receiving line. Correct?
Along with a lot of other people. This was a very public, I think it was a charity or a celebrity event or something, and I think that's her big claim to fame, you know, that she shook my hand at some celebrity event.
So the answer to my question is yes, that after you made the statement, you became aware that there's a photo of you with Ms. Carroll in a receiving line, correct?
At some point,
okay.
I saw there was a photo on a receiving line, yes.
Okay, let's
at some
mark
point.
the photo. What number are we at? What?
Oh no. Did he say he'd never seen her before in his life after having seen the photo of them meeting at that celebrity like meetup line thing, whatever it was? Oh no. Is he gonna get caught in a lie?
You have in front of you a black and white photograph that we've marked as DJT 23. And I'm going to ask you, is this the photo that you were just referring to?
I think so, yes.
Okay. And do you recall when you first saw this photo?
At some point during the process, I saw it. That's, I guess, her husband, John Johnson, who was an anchor for ABC. Nice guy, I thought. I mean, I don't know him, but I thought he was pretty good at what he did. I don't even know who the woman. Let's say I don't know who. It's Marla.
He's still.
You say Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla. Yeah, that's my wife.
Which one are you pointing to? No.
Here. Oh,
The person you just pointed to was
I
Eugene
see.
Carroll.
Who is that? Who is this?
Did he just point to the woman who's accused him of rape and sexual assault and battery and say, that's my wife, Marla, my ex-wife, Marla? Reminder, by the way, one of his go-to responses, his number one response to the idea that he raped and sexually assaulted this woman is, she's not my type. We know. We know what's up. We know what's up now.
And the woman on the right is your then wife.
I don't know.
Ivana?
This was the picture. I assume that's John Johnson. Is that Carol? Because it's very blurry.
Now, in your June 21 statement, which is
King of Republicans.
in your June 21 statement, which
There really is no better title for him. He is unironically the King of Republicans.
is DJT.
And no Republican will argue with you on that. For the most part, there are very few Republicans that would argue with you claiming that Trump is the King of Republicans. Like, they would be like, yeah, we think you should be the King of America.
20. You said that Ms. Carroll was trying to sell a new book, and that you said shame on those who make up false stories of assault to try to get publicity for themselves or sell a book.
No. That's right.
Before you made that statement, did you have any knowledge, one way or the other, of the financial arrangements between Ms. Carroll and the publisher of her book?
No.
Did you even know who her publisher was?
No.
Had you ever seen her book contract?
No.
Did you know anything about Ms. Carroll's financial situation?
No.
Did you know anything about her expected book sales?
No idea.
before you made the statement that appears in DJT 20, do you know whether you or anyone working for you did any research on Ms. Carroll?
I just don't know. It's possible somebody, when they heard this horrible accusation, it's possible that somebody did a little quick research, but not that I know of.
He's so uncharacteristically silent, too. Like, he is usually loud and bombastic. He sounds so fucking defeated here. Do you want to know why that is? It's because he knows he's, like, caught, you know? He knows he just has to, like, take this for the next probably few hours, you know? It's very much like, who remembers getting called to the principal's office as a kid? Because you did something, and they just found out, or, like, your teachers just went down the line of like of teachers and made it to the principal, and like you get called up there for the principal to talk to you, and it's like you were already nervous for it to happen. You hear the speaker come on. You know what they're about to say. You hear your name get called, and you get up and you start walking across the school to this happened to me. You start walking across the school to the principal's office. You got beads of sweat that are like going down your face, and you go outside, in my case, when this happened to me, and you're walking in the hot sun already sweating because you're nervous, and then you get inside the principal's office, you open the door, and the cold air-conditioned air hits you, so all of a sudden that sweat turns into a cold sweat, a very, very cold sweat, and you're sitting there freezing cold sweating in that chair waiting to get called into the principal's office. Oh, God. That is it's boring, but scary at the same time. That is the feeling Trump has right now. That same feeling that you as a kid would get in a situation like that, Trump is feeling right now. Maybe not as extreme because, you know, worst case scenario, he has to pay this woman $5 million, which he did. But, like, it's still pretty, like, scary to have to, like, sit there for hours and take this, you know?
Another thing that you say in your June 21 statement is that
yeah, he had to pay her.
Ms. Carroll was trying to carry out a political agenda.
Yeah.
Before issuing your statement on June 21, did you learn what political party Ms. Carroll belonged to?
I didn't know that.
Before you issued your June 21 statement, did you have any documents indicating that she was pursuing a political agenda?
No.
Okay, what are they about to wheel out now? Because, like, this line of questioning is basically to establish what Trump is claiming is his side of the story, and then they're bringing out the evidence to see whether or not it like, lines up with his story. So they're looking for holes right now. All right, let's hear Trump's side of things. Let's ask him these questions, these very basic questions, yes or no. Hopefully you get a yes or no answer. And let's see if things don't line up, because if his story isn't straight, then we know he's lying.
At the end of your statement, your June 21 statement, you say, if anyone has information that the Democratic Party is working with Ms. Carroll or New York Magazine, please notify us as soon as possible. Did anyone ever notify you about that?
I don't know.
Sitting here today, you can't recall anyone who notified you?
I don't know, yeah.
One of the other things that you said about Ms. Carroll at the time appears in your June 24 statement, which is DJT 22. And what you said there is, I'll say it with great respect, number one, she's not my type. When you said that Ms. Carroll was not your type, you meant that she was not your type physically, right?
I saw her in a picture. I didn't know what she looked like. And I said it, and I say it with as much respect as I can, but she is not my type.
And again, when you say type, you just refer to looking at photos, so you mean physically she's not your type?
Physically, she's not my type, and now that I've gotten indirectly to hear things about her, she wouldn't be my type in any way, shape, or form.
But when you were talking back on June 24th, you were referring to her not being your type physically.
I
correct?
saw a photo of her,
Okay.
and the only difference between me and other people is I'm honest. She's not my type.
I take it the 3 women you've married are all your type.
Yes. Honest people constantly have to reaffirm you of how honest they are. It's a very common problem. The very, very honest people known for constantly having to say, "Trust me, I'm very honest."
Yeah.
What is True Social?
It's a platform that's been opened by me as an alternative to Twitter.
And your handle on True Social is at Real Donald Trump?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Now, on October 12th, just a few days ago, you issued a statement on True Social about Ms. Carroll in this case, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And the statement that you posted, who wrote that statement?
I did.
You yourself?
Yeah.
Did you post the statement yourself?
Yes.
And in addition to posting the statement on True Social, you also sent it to the press.
Yes. It's called Truth and Post. We post much like...
Also, I feel like this is a pretty, fundamentally known thing, but I should probably say it. Rapists and sexual assaulters do not just target their victims based on their victims being attractive to them. There are actually, an astonishing amount of cases where men rape women and the men never even ejaculate. Because that's, they're not actually sexually into it. There was some study about this that was very bizarre. It's literally all about power dynamics, and abusing someone is the thing that turns them on. It's not about oh, she dressed a certain way, oh, she was making herself a bait or whatever, right? That is not how it works. It's about them being attracted to victimizing someone. That is what turns them on. So the idea that she's not my type would be a valid response to an accusation of I think you raped or would rape this person is very demonstrable of the fact that Donald Trump himself doesn't even fundamentally understand why someone, or at least in his argument, is indicating implicitly he doesn't understand why people do rape, I guess. I don't even know. He's playing dumb, it feels like. You missed it, Xander Hall. They asked if his wives were his type because, as you pointed out earlier, he mistook her for his wife in this thing. Wait, was that a second ago?
And in addition to posting the statement on True Social, you also sent it to the press.
Yes. It's called... yes.
How far back
and
was
in
it?
addition to posting the statement on True Social, you also sent it to the press.
Yes. It's called Truth and Post. We post much like, how would you say it? We put out a statement and we also put it on Truth.
Okay, let's look at the statement. Let's mark it as, what's my next number?
28.
DJT 28. Okay, so this one...
I can't read this.
Well, we have a blown-up version. Let's mark it as 28 and 28A.
Same guy.
So what we have in front of you is DJT 28, sir, is the post as it appeared on Truth.
I do love that Donald Trump has a very much an old man scowl. You know, his jowls from getting older have kind of come down, so his resting face is very much like a old man scowl. I do think it's kind of funny.
True Social on October 12, 2022, and a blown-up version, because we appreciate the reading. The type is very small. A blown-up version that should be more legible. Do you have
I
both
can
of those?
see it, yeah.
Okay. So it says October 12, 2022, statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America.
I wonder if he's on pills in this interview. Dog, if I ever had to go to court, I'd take 5 edibles beforehand to chill out. You know, I'd take 5 edibles 30 minutes before I go in there, so it just kicks in, you know? Most of it's just you sitting there, listening to shit and not talking yourself when you actually go to court, from what I've seen. So, if I ever was in a situation where I had to go to court, I would absolutely be stoned as fuck off edibles there, just absolutely enjoying sitting there in court.
This quote.
Ideally, I
Newsberg
never end up
Goodman
needing to go to
case
court.
Is a complete con job.
Except
And our
for
legal
jury duty. I had to do jury duty once, and I hope that means that I don't end up having to do it anytime soon again, you know? I'm really... It was not particularly fun. I stayed up all night. It was one day, and it wasn't even like... The case ended up being settled before the trial. So it was literally just us going in there and being briefed in the case by the lawyers. And I didn't sleep the day before, or the night before for some reason, because I'm stupid. And I was like... dead tired in there. I fell asleep several times. I'm pretty sure that's not allowed. I'm pretty sure if someone noticed that I was sleeping, I could have gotten, like, in trouble, you know? Not, like, in trouble, like, in a, you know, oh, they give you a little shit. No, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure it's, like, a legal problem. That, like, I was trying so hard to stay awake, and I fell asleep for multiple times for a few seconds. Thankfully it wasn't during like it was during the jury selection. Thank you. Yeah. Just tell them that you are a leftist and are pro-crime and they should let you go home. I, like, unironically, just go in there and say you're very racist. You know, like, say you're a white supremacist, you know? And that if the, you know, whoever is whiter, you will choose to be, I don't know. Like if they ask you if you have any prejudices that could affect your ability to be part of a jury, so just say, yeah, I've got serious prejudice. Homer, the trick is to say you're prejudiced against all races. True.
system in this country, and our legal system in this country, but especially in New York State, just look at Peekaboo James.
Don't say you're racist.
Disgrace. You have to fight for years and spend a fortune in order to get your reputation back from liars, cheaters, and hacks. This decision is from the judge who was just overturned on my same case. I don't know this woman, have no idea who she is, other than it seems she had a picture of me many years ago with her husband shaking my hand on a reception line at a celebrity charity event. She completely made up a story that I met her at the doors of this crowded New York City department store and within minutes swooned her. Swooned is in quotes. It is a hoax and a lie, just like all the other hoaxes that have been played on me for the past 7 years. And while I'm not supposed to say it, I will. This woman is not my type, exclamation point. She has no idea what day, what week, what month, what year, or what decade this so-called event, in quotes, supposedly took place. The reason she doesn't know is because it never happened, and she doesn't want to get caught up with details or facts that could be proven wrong. If you watch Anderson Cooper's interview with her, where she was promoting a really crummy book, you will see that it is a complete scam. She changed her story from beginning to end after the commercial break to suit the purposes of CNN and Andy Cooper. Our justice system is broken, along with almost everything else in our country. Her lawyer is...
So this is just Trump whining about how the world's unfair, everyone's out to get him, and it's so hard to be one of the most powerful people in the world, you know, in this day and age. It's so hard.
The political operative and Cuomo crony who goes around telling people that the way to beat Trump is to sue him all over the place. She is suing me on numerous frivolous cases, just like this one, and the court system does nothing to stop it. In the meantime, and for the record, E. Jean Carroll is not telling the truth, is a woman I had nothing to do with, didn't know.
Really crummy book? You mean the thing he pretended to not know existed? Holy shit! Homo sapiens, you're right. He literally just claimed when they handed him the book a minute ago that he'd never seen the book in his life, and he didn't even know it existed. He like I've never seen this book. I couldn't tell you what it looked like. I didn't even know it existed. And here he is talking about the book in a statement from like October 12th. And he just held it moments ago, saying he was like just found out about it. Or I guess he would have known about the book. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean he's lying about not knowing what the book looks like, to be fair. You know, if you want to be very, very charitable to Trump.
And would have no interest in knowing her if I ever had the chance. Now all I have to do is go through years more of legal nonsense in order to clear my name of her and her lawyer's phony attacks on me. This can only happen to, quote, in quotes, Trump, exclamation point. Did I read that correctly?
Great statement.
And now again,
dude, I will say it is pretty funny that Donald Trump responds to hearing his own words the same way that I do. He just says true. That's literally what I say in response to clips of me. I'm just like, yeah, true, yeah. Exact same response. I will say, pretty based of Trump. I guess we're a bit more alike than I thought. Birds of a feather.
Trying to you again confirm that you wrote the whole thing yourself.
I wrote it all myself. All
Yeah,
myself.
you must be as
Now,
cool as me.
At the beginning of your post, the reference Ms. Bergdorf Goodman is a reference to Ms. Carroll, right?
That's right.
Now, when you say in here, I don't know this woman and have no idea who she is, even though you're using the present tense, you're referring back to your knowledge as of when she first made the allegation.
I still don't know this woman. I think she's a whack job. I have no idea. I don't know anything about this woman other than what I read in stories and what I hear. I know nothing about her.
Okay, well, I guess the distinction I'm trying to make, sir, is that when the allegation came out in 2019, you said you I think it's your testimony, you had no idea who she was.
I still don't.
Well, today you at least know that she's a plaintiff in a case suing you, correct?
Oh, yes, that I know.
Okay.
But I know nothing about her. I think she's sick, mentally sick.
Okay. You say in this post,
You can't stop insulting the person that is suing him for defamation and battery and rape. Jesus Christ.
use a strange word which I want to ask you about. You say she completely made up a story that I met her at the doors of this crowded New York City department store and within minutes swooned her. Do you see that?
Yeah.
What does swoon her mean?
That would be a word, maybe accurate or not, having to do with talking to her and talking to her to do an act that she said happened, which didn't happen. And it's a nicer word than the word that starts with an F. And this would be a word that I use because I thought it would be inappropriate to use the other word. And it didn't happen.
Okay, I was curious when I read this, so I looked up the word swoon in the dictionary. And under the dictionary, it means to faint with extreme emotion. That's not what you meant here. Objection form.
Well, sort of. That's what she said I did to her. She fainted with great emotion. She actually indicated that she loved it. Okay? She loved it until a commercial break. In fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy to be raped. Didn't she say that?
So, sir, I just want to confirm. It's your
So he's now claiming the woman who accused him of this has said that she finds it sexy to be raped? What? By the way, Zan, he's totally clip chimping what she said. I'm sure she didn't say this in the context of the way Trump is framing it, but Jesus.
testimony that E. Jean Carroll said that she loved being sexually assaulted by you?
Well,
God,
based on
imagine
her
being
interview
Trump's
with
lawyer.
Anderson Cooper, I believe that's what took place. We can define that. You'll have to show that. I'm sure you're going to show that. But she was interviewed by Anderson Cooper, and I think she said that rape was sexy, which it's not, by the way. But I think she said that rape was sexy.
I like how the longer this goes on, the more we kind of like discover Trump knows about this woman, right? Like he starts off and he doesn't know anything about this woman. She's just some crazy stranger that he just heard accused him of this thing from a magazine, in her book, right? And now as this goes on, he's like revealing he knows so much about her.
And she actually said things that were very strange. And then she was a different person after when he said, we'll take a break right now. We're going to take a break right now. He didn't like what she was saying. He was very upset with and then she came back and she was a much different woman in the second half, so to speak.
And so the question I'm asking you is, did she say in that interview that she
I assume they're going to correct it here.
loved being sexually assaulted by you?
Well, she said something to that effect. I mean, you'll have to take a look at the interview yourself. I believe she said rape was sexy, to which Anderson Cooper is dying. He's saying, let's get to a commercial break immediately. I think you better watch the interview. I'm sure you have, but you better watch the interview.
In the interview, when Ms. Carroll talked about rape being sexy, isn't it true that she said that's a view that many other people hold?
Okay, so basically she said many people hold that view, and Trump said that she claimed it And that's her opinion? Yeah, so he legit just clip-chimped her. So I would have loved if they just replied, so Trump, is it true that you're lying about what she said? Because what she actually said was like, oh, look at his face.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. All I know is I believe she said rape is sexy or something to that effect, but you'll have to watch the interview. It's been a while.
And just to clarify, I think you said a few minutes earlier that you used the word swooned as a synonym for, you said the F word, for sexual intercourse?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's because that's what she said.
What do you mean? She never used the word swooned.
No, she said that I did something to her that never took place. There was no anything. I know nothing about this nut job.
Okay, then you go on to say in the statement, and while I am not supposed to say it, I will. Why were you not supposed to say it?
Because it's not politically correct to say, read the next, go ahead, that she's not my type. Yeah, because it's not politically correct to say it, and I know that, but I'll say it anyway. She's accusing me of rape. A woman that I have no idea who she is. It came out of the blue.
Dude, incels in like the conservative community are going to love this so much. They're going to rally behind Trump on this harder than you've ever seen. Oh my God. You better believe this is going to be like a resurgence of anti-Me Too rhetoric all over again.
She's accusing me of rape, of raping her. The worst thing you can do, the worst charge. And you know it's not true too. You're a political operative also. You're a disgrace. But she's accusing me, and so
Oh my God. He's insulting the people that are questioning him. Calling them political operatives who know it's not true. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, you're doing really well for yourself, Trump. I'm sure your lawyer is very, very just cheering for you behind the bleachers right now.
you of rape, and it never took place. And I will tell you, I made that statement, and I said, well, it's politically incorrect. She's not my type. And that's 100% true. She's not my type.
Now, in your True Social statement on October 12th, you use the word hoax. Specifically, you say, it is a hoax and a lie, just like all the other hoaxes that have been played on me for the past 7 years. You see that?
Yeah.
I recall making that statement. And I take it what you're saying there is Ms. Carroll fabricated her claim that you sexually assaulted her, correct?
Yes, totally. 100%.
Now, fair to say,
Do you think the person that accused him here might be under some kind of threat from Trump supporters? Certainly to a degree. If this was a criminal trial and Trump was found guilty in like a criminal trial and this woman was the accuser, no doubt she would probably need to be put under like witness protection. Like if Trump was actually like indicted criminally for rape or sexual assault, and he was going to be like facing real charges, yeah, that woman would be like an actual like kill on sight target of a lot of Trump supporters, and it would be like a problem. Yeah, I mean, we literally just talked about a neo-Nazi shooter who was like a Tim Pool fan who just, killed 8 people in Texas. So, like, yeah, I mean, there are crazy people out there that like this guy who will take it into their own hands, so to say.
you'd agree with me, would you not, that you use the term hoax quite a lot?
Yes, I do.
CNN reported that you used it more than 250 times in 2020. Does that sound right?
Could
to you?
be. I've had a lot of hoaxes played on me. This is one of them.
And how would you define the word hoax?
A fake story, a false story, a made-up story.
Something that's not true.
Something that's not true, yes.
Sitting here today, can you recall what else you have referred to as a hoax?
Sure. The Russia hoax. It's been proven to be a hoax. Ukraine.
The Russia hoax. Okay, so the funny thing is, the Russia thing wasn't a hoax. People, like, even, like, liberals and centrists, like, think of it and talk about it like it was this, like, nothing burger thing. But, like, several people in Trump's team were arrested and put in prison for it. Like, Trump had fall guys that took the fall for him. They were found guilty. That, like, not only was Russia found to be actively colluding or working to fuck over Hillary Clinton because they viewed Trump as the better candidate to win for their personal desires and their own personal political desires and whatnot. But also, there was evidence of people in Trump's staff working with Russian government, with the Russian government and Russian like party members to like try to expose the Democratic Party for scandals and whatnot, like the Hillary email thing and the Benghazi stuff. Like there were like a bunch of Trump's people were arrested and put in prison for this, you know? It wasn't a hoax. It wasn't like a nothing burger. It's just that Trump had people who took the fall for him. But it was real.
Ukraine hoax, the Mueller situation for 2.5 years hoax, ended in no collusion. It was a whole big hoax. The lying to the Pfizer court hoax, the lying to Congress many times hoax by all these people, this scum that we have in our country, lying to Congress.
I do like that Trump is now getting to like full on Nazi rhetoric. He's always been doing like fashy talking points, but now it's like Nazi tier shit, like referring to Democrats as scum, like anybody who is a political dissonant of him as scum that needs to be like, you know, flushed out, right? Like he's actively like engaging in the war rhetoric now. Like this is a violent insurrection that needs to happen.
Congress hoax, the spying on my campaign hoax. They spied on my campaign and now they admit it. That was another hoax, and I could get a whole list of them. And this is a hoax too.
This, when you say this and that,
There's this ridiculous situation that we're doing right now.
Persecution complex bigger than shit.
She's a liar, and she's a sick person, in my opinion. Really sick. Something wrong with her.
okay. In addition to the Russia hoax, the Ukraine hoax, the Mueller
The Ukraine hoax? Okay.
Mueller hoax, the lying to Pfizer hoax, the lying to Congress hoax, and the spying on your campaign hoax. Isn't it true that you also referred to the use of mail-in ballots as a hoax?
Yeah, I do. Sure. I do. I think they're very dishonest. Mail-in ballots, very dishonest.
Mail-in ballots are a hoax. You guys want to see, actually, I have something pretty cool. I found this in my wallet. I'd totally forgotten about this for a while. You know, years at this point. And I just stumbled upon it in my wallet the other day while I was rooting around in there looking to see if I had any cash on hand. And I found something I did not expect to find in one of my little pockets in my wallet. Let me get it out. I don't want to rip it. From all the way back in 2020, when I did my mail-in voting ballot for the presidential election, my I voted early sticker from my mail-in ballot. I know it's like, it's flipped because the way I do my camera, but it's all like wrinkled up and fucked up and it's a little like, you know, like grayed out and old, but yeah, I still got my I voted sticker from the 2020 election in my wallet. But yeah, I did a mail-in ballot. Yeah, the reason why Republicans, and particularly Trump with this election, are so anti-mail-in ballot is because, particularly because of COVID, the vast majority of Democrats were voting with mail-in ballots, which is why the Republicans wanted to be like, okay, if we can nullify all mail-in ballots, we can essentially take away for one whole election the right to vote from a shit ton of almost exclusively Democrats. And that will guarantee the election goes to Trump, right? So they essentially, despite there being no evidence whatsoever that mail-in ballots are like, you know, insecure or corrupt or, you know, dishonest, as Trump calls them, despite them literally just being a way for people to be able to vote without leaving the house, Trump, like, they want to ban it because Democrats tend to vote early and by mail.
And isn't it true that you yourself have voted by mail?
I do. Sometimes I do, but I don't know what happens to it once you give it. I have no idea.
Are you familiar, I'm sure you are, with something that's often referred to as the Access Hollywood tape?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let's mark it and play it as 35.
Here we go. This is a classic.
and
She's still very
I
beautiful.
moved on her, actually. You know, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
Huge news there.
No, Nancy. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved a bitch. But I couldn't get there. And she was married. All of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look.
She's your girl's hot as in the purple.
Whoa!
Yes.
Whoa!
Yes, the Donald is scored. Oh, my man. Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out this up.
I love Trump. I'm gonna get rid of my camera here so you can see Trump's face during this. He does not look happy. Oh, yeah. Like, to be clear, this is what like conservative guys, how they talk and think about women when they don't think anybody, particularly women, are like watching. Like, they genuinely, unironically view women as like sexual objects to be like acted upon. You know, like, it's very clear they don't like view women with an ounce of respect as far as like human like autonomy goes.
You give me the thumbs up.
You are a
Gotta put the thumbs up. You gotta get the thumbs up. Can't be too happy.
First? Yeah, let me.
It's very fun.
You gotta give the thumbs up.
You and I will walk out.
Oh my God.
Maybe it's a different one.
Better not be the post. No, it's her.
Yeah, that's it, with the gold. I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just, I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the You can do anything.
He's talking about a woman he is about to meet in like 30 seconds, by the way.
Look at those legs. All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good.
Come on, shorty.
Ooh, nice legs, huh?
Oof, get out of the way, huh? That's good legs.
They're talking about they're looking out like the window, through like the tinted window at the woman that Trump's about to talk to for like this media engagement, and they're like, him and Billy Bush are like talking about this woman that Trump's never met, talking about like, oh, I might grab her by the pussy, I might start kissing her out of nowhere, I should take some Tic Tacs.
Go ahead.
It's always good if you don't fall out of the bus. Like Ford, Gerald Ford, remember?
So now he's gonna meet the woman he was just talking about.
Pull the ham.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
Trump, how are
Nice seeing
you?
you.
Pleasure to
Terrific.
meet you.
Terrific. You know Billy Bush?
How are
Nice
you?
to see you. How you doing,
Very
Ariane?
good.
Doing very well, thank you. Are you ready to be a soap star?
We're ready. Let's go. Make me a soap star.
How about a little hug for the Donald? He just got off the
Would you
bus.
like a little
Okay,
hug, darling?
absolutely.
Billy Bush then says, how about a little hug for the... This is the woman they were talking about on the bus. He then says, how about a little hug for the Donald? And then Trump kisses her. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. You guys see why, like the pedocon theory... Not even... This isn't even pedocon theory. This is just rapist con theory. It's more so rapist con law. Pedocon theory is a theory, but rapist con law is a law. It's a law of nature. Like, yeah, it's just conservatives can't outright say it, but like raping women is like a core tenet of conservatism. Like the fact taking away women's bodily autonomy and men doing what they like to the women that they own, quote unquote, which is what marriage is supposed to be. The union of marriage is basically supposed to be the man, owning the woman. Like the father is of that woman is basically like giving ownership of his daughter to a man that he has deemed as worthy of now owning his daughter. That's basically how conservatives view that thing. Like marriage is a transactional thing, right? It's very, very similar to like if you watch anything that has to do with the way that succession and marriages worked in like royalty. Like I guess like Game of Thrones, for example, where it's like, yes, the Lord of Casterly Rock's 12-year-old daughter should be having her first blood soon. We will be having her married to your 18-year-old son, and they will have several children who will inherit great amounts of wealth and land. Like, it's literally like that level of degeneracy that the right like thinks of women and marriage and like this kind of thing with. Like, it's literally a core of their ideology. It's the thing they're trying to conserve.
Melania said this was okay.
That's you in that video, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And am I correct that that video was recorded?
That's like literally what they call it in Game of Thrones.
In January, withdrawn. Am I correct that that video was recorded in September 2005?
I guess that would, I don't know the date, but whatever date it was is fine with me.
And am I correct that you were engaged to your current wife sometime in 2004?
I don't know.
Am I correct that you married your current wife in January 2005?
I don't know relative to that tape, no.
And the person you were speaking to, it's now famous, in that video was Billy Bush?
That's right.
Please
This
let me...
this is very old news, fully litigated, during debates, during everything else, fully litigated.
Okay.
He's in a fucking like actual legal proceeding, and he's saying this has already been fully litigated. At like, this is just old news. Why are you bringing this up? Old news. This has been litigated in debates and in the media. Basically, what he means by this has already been litigated is he has successfully like rolled this off his back. Like this literal evidence of Trump being like a weirdo sexual predator was something that Trump's fan base responded to with overwhelming positivity. I mean, even if you look at the like responses back when this video came out and it was like getting really big, you can even look back to how like liberals responded to it. I distinctly remember Chris Raygun calling this clip locker room talk, even as Trump refers to it often as well. Like, people just kind of didn't care about this. Like, this just didn't hurt Trump at all, despite it being like very evidently bad. Just people didn't respond with the very warranted disgust they should have to this clip, and it just didn't hurt him. So that's what he means by this has been litigated. It's like, oh, nobody cares about this. I already won on this thing. Like, nobody cares. You couldn't get me on that video, you know?
You know what I said then, and I say it now? Locker room talk. That was locker room talk.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what goes on.
There you go.
You did say in the
he calls
video
it
that
locker
you,
room
quote,
talk.
moved on her heavily, correct?
Excuse me?
You do say in the video that you, quote,
Yeah.
moved on her heavily.
I did say that, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And you do say in the video that as part of trying to have sex with this woman, you took her furniture shopping, correct?
We actually did look for furniture, yes.
So that was true. You actually took this woman
I
in.
think so.
furniture
It's been
shopping.
a long time ago. It's how long was that? A long time ago. But I think so. I do think so.
Is that the only occasion when you took a woman shopping?
I think so.
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the you can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
He's gonna try to pretend like he wasn't talking about himself and bragging about his own experience and supposed privilege that he has, and act like, oh no, I was just making a broad statement about like historically, you know, stars are able to do this kind of thing, you know. Like the quote literally says, and I do that. Like he literally says, I do this. How is he gonna try to like wiggle out of this one?
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been
Million.
largely true.
Okay, hold on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but anatomically accurate humans have only been around for like 200,000 years, roughly. Like anatomically modern humans. So, no, not a million years. I don't think the like monkey men were going by this standard. Yeah, humans literally haven't been around for a million years. We've only been around for roughly 200,000.
Always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star.
I think you can.
By the way, we are popping the fuck off, aren't we? Like, literally like 200 to 300,000 years, we've become the most dominant life form that's ever existed on this planet. Dinosaurs had this place for like 30 million or something like that. Or like, yeah, no. 65 million years ago, dinosaurs went extinct, right? And since then, it's been a bunch of like shitty little mammals trying to get by. And then we come along, and in 200,000 years, we get where we are now. We are the fucking goat of this planet. We also suck, but we are also the fucking goat.
Say that, yeah.
And now you said before, a couple of minutes ago, that this was just locker room talk.
It's locker room talk.
And so does that mean that you didn't really mean it?
No, it's locker room talk. I don't know. It's just the way people talk.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with a woman by the name of Natasha Stoynoff?
No.
Natasha.
Stoynoff.
You'll have to give me a little bit of
Do you
a
remember
background.
she wrote about you a lot when she worked at People magazine?
Oh, I do remember there was some woman that wrote, and then she, a long time later, I think she wrote a wonderful story, and then a long time later, as I remember it, a long time later she said that I was aggressive with her. But she wrote the most beautiful story.
Like, it's been a shit ton of women that have accused Trump of sexual assault or rape. Like, it's been a lot. Like, so much so that I'm not even, like, informed on the vast majority of the accusations. And there's also been, like, Trump has verifiably paid off several of the accusers.
And then all of a sudden, like, is it a year or 2 years later, she comes out with this phony story that I said, well, why would she have written such a good story for People magazine? She wrote a really nice piece. And then all of a sudden, like, years or months, many months later, she came up with this phony charge.
Let's watch a video, and again, I apologize for the technology, where you talk about Ms. Stoynoff's allegations.
Are we marking this?
We're going to mark it. It's a clip of a video from a campaign event in West Palm Beach on October 13, 2016, and we're going to mark it as DJT 36.
Then there was a writer from People magazine who wrote a story on Melania and myself on our first anniversary. The story was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was lovely. But last night we hear that after 12 years, this took place 12 years ago, this story, a new claim that I made inappropriate advances during the interview to this writer. And I ask a very simple question. Why wasn't it part of the story that appeared 20 or 12 years ago? Why wasn't it part of the story? Why didn't they make it part of the story? I was one of the biggest stars on television with The Apprentice, and it would have been one of the biggest stories of the year. Think of it. She's doing...
Oh, thank you for reminding me of that, Bisudu. You're right. That particular ex-wife that Trump had confused the woman who's accusing him here of being, like, in that one picture... I forget what her name is, but that particular ex-wife accused Trump of raping her in their divorce proceedings. She is literally another one of the accusers.
Doing this story on Melania, who's pregnant at the time, and Donald Trump, our one-year anniversary. And she said I made inappropriate advances. And by the way, the area was a public area, people all over the place. Take a look. You take a look. Look at her words. You tell me what you think. I don't think so. I don't think.
You'd agree with me that
I'm sorry, you can't tell me that wasn't funny. You can't tell me that wasn't top-tier physical comedy.
the person you were just talking about in that video was Natasha Stoynoff, correct?
Yes.
Are you familiar with a woman by the name of Jessica Leeds?
No, I don't think so. But explain, go ahead.
Does that mean that just refresh your recollection of who
Yes,
Jessica
it
Leeds
does.
is?
This woman made up a story, just like your client made it up. Just made up a story. Having to do with sitting next to me in an airplane. And, I'll have to read this again, but that story was so false also. But this was, I guess, making out as opposed to what your client said. This story was so false. This is a disgrace also.
And do you recall speaking about Ms. Leeds' allegations at campaign events in 2016?
I might have. I thought it was so...
Did he say aeroplane? Yeah, he was literally like, he saw the first airplanes fly, so, you know, he's pretty old-fashioned with how he says it.
Like
an
your
old
client,
guy.
I thought it was so ridiculous.
Okay, let's take a look at the next video, which is...
Oh no, someone in chat thinks this is AI generated. Oh no. Oh no. They think this is AI.
DJT 38, correct?
Copium or just somebody who doesn't know?
Hopefully our great movement, and there's never been anything like this in the United States, and the only way they figure they can slow it down is to come up with...
That'd be really funny if that ends up being, like, Trump supporters, like, copium about all this. If they start saying this video is AI generated. Like, especially when Trump supporters, in particular, have been using fake AI videos and images for their propaganda on Twitter, like, nonstop lately. Like, if the right decides to try to claim that's what the left is doing and this isn't real. That would actually be really believable for the right to do. Like, I would absolutely believe it if you told me the right was trying to do that. That really seems like it's in character for them.
People that are willing to say, oh, I was with Donald Trump in 1980.
Nothing changes.
I was sitting with him on an airplane. And he went after me on the plane. Yeah, I'm going to go after. Believe me, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell you. Man. You don't know. That would not be my first choice.
When you said
Every time his response to it is always like, no, I wouldn't rape her, she's too ugly. Literally the Sargon of Akkad line where he said that he wouldn't even rape her. Like, that one MP. Oh my god.
in that video that Ms. Leeds would not be your first choice, you were referring to her physical looks, correct?
Just the overall. I look at her, I see her, I hear what she says, whatever. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not, under any circumstances, have any interest in you. I'm honest
okay.
when I say.
To be fair, I have the footage sped up by 1.25x, so that could be why it looks a little, like, off. If like, the video looks weird, I do have it sped up slightly, as you can see. I have it on 1.25 speed. Because it's a 48-minute long video. You guys know how much I pause and talk.
Say it. I would not have any interest in.
The video we just watched, where you talked about Ms. Leeds.
Wait, what did he just say?
I look at her, I see her.
I was sitting with him on an airplane. And he went after me on the plane. Yeah, I'm going to go after. Believe me, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell you. Man. You don't know. That would not be my first choice.
When you said in that video that Ms. Leeds would not be your first choice, you were referring to her physical looks, correct?
Just the overall. I look at her, I see her, I hear what she says, whatever. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not, under.
No. 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 He's talking to the lawyer of the woman who's accused him of rape, by the way. Yeah, go on, Mr. Trump. Go on. How does this defense hold up? It didn't. He lost.
Any circumstances have any interest in
He had to
you.
pay the woman $5 million.
I'm honest when I say it. I would not have any interest in.
The video we just watched, where you talked about Ms. Leeds. What else did you know about Ms. Leeds that would indicate to you that she would not have been your first choice, other than how she looked?
I don't know. I think I probably
The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Only 3 hours the jury deliberated for before deciding he was liable.
saw her on television or something. But I don't want to be insulting. But when people accuse me of something, I think I have a right to be insulting because they're insulting me. They're doing the ultimate insult. They make up stories, and then I'm not allowed to speak my mind. No, I disagree with that. No, she would not have been anywhere on a list. I just wouldn't have been for me. It's disgusting. It's what she said was disgusting. Can you imagine doing that on an airplane? What she said? I'm doing that on an airplane. That's almost as ridiculous as doing it in Bergdorf Goodman in a dressing room.
Isn't it true that just...
What is he doing? Your Honor, can I please have a noose to hang myself? My client is fucking retarded.
A few minutes ago, you couldn't remember the date of your engagement to your current wife, Melania?
No. We're talking about a different thing. We're talking about a woman where something happened that was inappropriate, right? Inappropriate. It was highly inappropriate. She would remember that date. I would imagine she would have complained to the airline. She would know the flight. She would know everything about it. She didn't even know the year, as I remember it, just like your client doesn't know the year, doesn't know anything about it. If something happened like that to your client would know the second. She'd know down to the second. She'd know the day, the month, the year, right down to the second.
In the last paragraph of the statement that you made on June 21 that appears in the Laura Litvin's brief, DJ 220, you said as follows.
Last paragraph where?
DJ
Yeah, if Meatball Ron DeSantis doesn't go out and, like, rape a 14-year-old girl, there is no way he's going to stand a chance against Trump in 2023's primary. Or was it going to be in 2024, the Republican primary? Like, Ron DeSantis does not have enough raped women under his belt for the Republicans to rally behind him in the way they do behind Trump, I feel. So I think this is really going to solidify Trump's victory in the primary, the Republican primary, because this really is just a shining like beacon of Republican virtue.
20.
Go ahead, what is it?
You say as follows. The world should know what's really going on. It is a disgrace, and people should pay dearly for such false accusations. See that?
Yeah.
And the person you meant who should pay dearly for such false accusations was E. Jean Carroll, correct?
Yeah, and I think their attorneys too. I think the attorneys like you are a big part of it. Because you know it's a phony case.
Again, dude. Jesus. Oh, that was juicy. That was fucking juicy. I want to see if there's any Trump supporter replies in the comments. Most of the comments are dunking on Trump. Pretty happy to see that. We got one that says, y'all are brainwashed, a bunch of bots. Verdict, not guilty. I'm no Trump fan, but I don't see what the lawyer achieved there. There's no proof at all. A very weak case, in my opinion. How much you want to bet this person's entire sub feed? If you look at their channels, nothing but like conservative propaganda channels. Show the whole thing, you fake news! Exclamation point. People, please watch the entire video. But that's the whole thing, though. Random sex bots. The irony of the left demonizing Trump here is laughable, considering Biden gropes little girls on Nation TV. I mean, really? Isn't the supposed clip of him groping a little girl on national TV like wasn't it like literally him like touching his like niece's shoulder or something? I forget what it was, but it was a complete nothing burger. They're very like the only thing that seemed to be like a very like credible allegation against Biden was that one I forget what her name was, that one woman that was like really big during like a lot of Bernie or Busters brought it up as an argument, but it all kind of fell apart because it seemed pretty clear that it didn't seem like her accusation held a lot of water. What was her name? Fuck. She was like constantly Tara Reid. Thank you. Yeah, Tara Reid. Didn't that all like didn't it just like fall apart? Like, didn't Tara Reid's story just end up having like a bunch of contradictions and holes or something like that, and it just didn't go anywhere? Oh yeah, and then she praised the Black Hammer organization. Oh yeah. So she was like a super like tanky lefty type who was just trying to go after Biden. That makes sense. Her Twitter engagement seemed like it was very clear she was trying to gain yeah, that's Black Hitler's organization. The Black Hammer group. Anyway, it was very clear based off of her Twitter interactions that she was trying to gain like a lot of clout off of this story. Yeah, like she gave Tulsi Gabbard vibes. Yeah, so like that was the closest to like a really solid like, oh, Biden's like a creepy sex pest kind of guy evidence that I ever saw, and that just ended up not really being anything either. So it's just it is all whataboutism. It is literally all whataboutism. When we're having a discussion about Trump, they have to bring up Hillary or Biden or whatever Democrat is supposed to go up against Trump as a way of trying to exonerate him. Like, well, they did that. Well, Trump has literally 50 times more accusations against him than Biden does. So, like, why are you doing whataboutism with Biden here? Like, I don't even know. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say.